This is the Moiré. Moiré Media Collective proudly presents
Moiré Screen Studies
with your hosts,
Darryl.
I'm Devon King.
Hello, everyone out there in podcast land. Please come in, put down your bags, and take a seat as we begin the newest journey for the Moiré Media Collective.
This is the first semester of Moiré Screen Studies. I'm Darryl.
And I'm Devon King. Welcome to
The Orientation.
So first and foremost, the purpose of today is to get you fully acquainted with the hosts, that being Darryl and myself, the schedule that we have, the itinerary of films that we're going to be covering this semester, and most importantly, the Discord server, which is where the backbone of this collective resides.
Begin with the host. I'm Darryl Ailes. I'm a cinematographer based out of Southern Ontario, Canada. I've shot 7 feature films, 3 of which of those I directed. But really my journey began when I attended film school at Fanshawe College, taking the Advanced Filmmaking, or AFM for short, course in 2013. After I graduated, I made my first large project, which was a miniseries titled Look What You Have Become, black and white on YouTube. Feel free to look it up. And since then, I've been in a constant ebb and flow, creative work in my free time while working a day job, of course. This crescendoed last year when I shot 2 features, an anthology for the Moiré Media Collective, a TV pilot, and an award-winning music video all in 1 year. It was wild. Lastly, I want to add that I got my own company. It's called Orange Hat Film Productions, and we are huge supporters of the Highland Cinema, which if you're ever in London, it's on Warrencliffe, and it is one of the most legendary cinemas around. Most of the features that we have made premiered there, and that is kind of like where the heart of today's scene is currently. So that means a lot to all of us over here at Orange Hat. But let me throw it to our other host.
Yeah, I'm Devon. I also graduated at AFM. I was in the same program some years later. And I helped co-found the Moiré Media Collective with Ian. During the pandemic, we basically started a podcast called Tuesdays with Moiré, which was impossible to find just because of a book it happens to sound just like. So there's been a long, convoluted history of name changes over the years, but ultimately, this Discord server has led to so many incredible creative projects and bringing together this little tight-knit team of core people that I'm really proud of to call my friends and close collaborators. A lot of this would not have been possible if it weren't for Ian messaging me saying, "Hey, do you want to start a podcast?" And me saying, "Sure, I guess." But yeah, all of us have similar background in film education, and we're passionate about it. And this has just been an incredible outlet for us to talk about the films we love. And not only that, but also apply what we've learned in the real world, trying to make films ourselves. I've dabbled in a lot of different artistic mediums, music, filmmaking, drawing back when I was a kid. And I think a lot of my creative efforts have sort of culminated into what we're doing here today. The project that we've been working on for the past 2 years has been quite an undertaking. It's an anthology film called One Night in Lethargia, and one of the shorts is one that I directed called Dark and Stormy, and Darryl was a big help in helping bring that vision to life behind the camera. I'm forever grateful for that, and I cannot wait to show the world what we've created together.
Yeah, man, 100%. It was a great time working on that project. I love, I can't wait for the world to see that one. And yeah, with that said, I think it's time for the podcast to return. It's, it's just a bit different this time, Our old format, it really consisted of watching and reviewing like 3 different films, all with some kind of thematic overlap. Really, it was all about the episode names for me. Some of the best titles of podcast episodes ever to exist happened in this very server. And so episodes were always really dense, though. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
We had a lot of disputes. We had a lot of overlapping conversation, and And yeah, we each kind of tended to receive the material so different. That was one of the fun parts, but it was just, there was a lot to try and fit into episode format because like I feel like the shortest we could really get it was an hour and a half. So yeah, and oftentimes,
Oh yeah, we often bit more than we can chew. Really, there was no rhyme and reason for the pairings initially, but eventually we found themes in common, and it was a lot of fun. But yeah, doing 3 episodes or 3 movies to review in a week, and then have some third theme between them was a lot to keep up with. So
and don't get me wrong, we love that format, right? Like we have plans to revive it in the near future. So don't get us wrong. Like well, it was successful. I think like in doses, it could be really great. I mean that was I'm just though not to shit on it too much.
just enough.
Yeah.
But no, we wanted to start with a clean slate more or less and take a very different approach, kind of bringing it back to basics with the films that we sort of cut our teeth on understanding and learning the art of cinema. So yeah, so this is what brought us to. I keep going back to the script and improvising. So this is all just this is all us doing it live, folks. Where am I? Oh yeah. So this is where we now have the Moiré Film Studies 101. Bringing us back to where we started. Taking inspiration from our classes 10 years ago. And we're going to watch one film every other week. And we're going back a century with Fritz Lang's Metropolis from 1927. Is that
just about 2 years shy from, it was 27, I believe.
2 years shy of a century, which is still incredible.
Right? But yeah, to Brian Dunphy. Talking about harkening it back to film school. We had a great professor named Brian Dunphy. At least he was one of my favorite ones who really helped open me up to what films could be and how to understand them. And that's kind of what he did too, right? Like you in those classes, you really start way in the back and then you work your way up.
I hope he's proud of what his students have accomplished.
Yeah, right.
But no, I like that with the roster of films that we have selected. I like the bookending with 2 epic sci-fi films, one being Metropolis, and then several weeks down the line we'll be talking about Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah, that'll be graduation from this is Blade Runner 2049. But yeah, like you said, each week we'll also be joined by a guest to help explore each film. Even the first episode, we're even gonna have 2 guests. Or step for that one. All these guests are members of our Discord server, which we should mention. It's our main hub for all things Moiré Media Collective related. And if you wish to join it, there should be a link in all the show notes, and we're going to make that very available for on each episode. Within our server, it's really cool. We have like dozens of channels focused on all their own specific subjects, right? So yeah, like what I always say is if you're looking to dish social media, like just go to Discord. Like so many people will keep you up to date on your things. You don't get data mined.
Oh yeah, it's good to have a nice, healthy digital detox every so often. But sometimes you just want to connect with with friends of yours that have shared interests and not have advertisers, using the algorithm to sell you stuff you don't need. Oh shit. I may have got something delivered, but anyway.
Well, without further ado, do you want to get into the schedule for our first semester?
Yeah, here we go. So the first film we're going to be talking about coming up in a week's time, I believe, is like I said, Metropolis, where we're going to have our friends Gabby and Michael on board. We'll be talking about that on January 30th.
Yeah, and followed up by Rashomon, Akira Kurosawa, 1950. So that's probably like our biggest jump in time, in all fairness. But we started with some nice older films at least, because for me, Rashomon is like, we needed to do some Kurosawa. It's needed, and we'll actually be joined by Ian Taylor, who as we mentioned, was a co-founder of the podcast and the server in general with Devon.
I was going to say, it's a shame we're not doing a film noir, but then again, after that, we are going to be talking about Night of the Hunter, which I think is an excellent film from 1955. And our good friend Mason, who's also a fellow filmmaker, he was a big inspiration for what led me to AFM. And he's worked on his own feature film called Into the Hollow. Check it out. But yeah, we're going to be talking with him about Night of the Hunter on February 27th.
Right? Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. One of my favorites. Then following it up, I believe it's the last of the stretch of black and white films. We're gonna be doing 8.5, which is a 1963 Fellini film. I cannot confirm who our guest is on that yet. I'm still waiting to hear back from them, but we're eyeing it up. You'll know soon enough, and that's gonna be March 13th for that one.
Yep. Following that, we're diving right into The Exorcist from William Friedkin, 1973. And we're going to be exercising your own demons and bringing up our good old friend Steve from the...
Mr. Beeson.
Oh, yeah. We had to have him on. We had to have him on for a Friedkin episode. He's a freaking genius.
You literally couldn't do an episode without Steve. It's like if we were to do a Zyler episode or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Something very winding ref. Oh, yeah.
We're going to have Steve on board for March 27th to talk about that film.
And we're going to follow it up with The King of Comedy. It's a 1983 Scorsese film. And our friend Murph is going to come out for that. New to the server, but really stoked. This is one of their favorite films. And we're going to be doing that around April 10th.
Mm-hmm. Totally wasn't the blueprint for Joker. Anyway, following that, we're going to find out who framed Roger Rabbit. That's a film from 1988, Robert Zemeckis, and our good friend Tad, local animator, our good friend Tad is going to be on there for April 24th.
Yeah, it's another third of Warren Chat Film Productions right there.
Right.
Yeah, and we're going to follow it up with one of the films that really, really messed me up in film school, so it couldn't not be on the list. Videodrome, 1983 Cronenberg. That's going to be our buddy Aaron Kramers, who's helped us out. I guess we'll talk about that at the end. But we've been working with him a lot lately. It's going to be May 8th for that one.
He's been an absolute staple on a lot of the Orange Hat sets.
100%.
Always there to fill a seat. But then, in honor of someone very near and dear, someone very dear to us who passed away recently, we're going to be talking about David Lynch's Lost Highway from 1997 on June 5th. We were actually initially going to do this orientation episode yesterday, but when we all got the news, I think we all agreed that we needed to take some time to properly mourn him. So, yeah, I was going to save the shout out for the very end, but had to bring it up. But I'm so looking forward to talking about that film. Yes, to be determined on that, but yeah, I'm excited.
And we also have, following that up, is going to be a film I've never seen, and people get very mad at me for not seeing it. It is There Will Be Blood by Paul Thomas Anderson, 2007. We're in the new millennium now. And our guest for that is going to be my wonderful co-founder of Orange Chat Film Productions, Jamara Forbes. And she might also be the mother of my child. That's going to be May 22nd.
I just have to point out the 10-year gap that exists between Lost Highway and There Will Be Blood, but bit of a jump there. But
there's decades jumps and a fair few. Exorcist, King of Comedy is a decade too.
That's true.
Yeah,
but no, I think we got us. I think we still have a good list. There's a nice thematic through line, and
and not just 10,
right? And then the film we're talking about after that was huge for me when it came out. I was actually lucky enough to catch this in IMAX on 70 mil when it happened, and this was 10 years ago now, which blows my mind. But we'll be talking about Christopher Nolan's Interstellar from 2014, and not confirmed yet, but I might have my good friend Drew on board for that episode.
I'd love to. I think we have a verbal agreement, not a handshake agreement.
We'll be flying out toward Gargantuan on June 19th.
Oh, dude, I have so much to say about Interstellar. I love it. And we're following it up. It's weird. We definitely it's a sci-fi bread sandwich here. Well, Videodrome, you could argue. But yeah, no, we're gonna end as we alluded to earlier in the podcast with Blade Runner 2049. It is a 2017 Denis Villeneuve film, and our buddy Anorak's coming out for that. It's going to be July 3rd. And I don't know if that'll, I said it earlier, I don't know if that'll be graduation. Maybe we'll do an episode at the end called Graduation where we clip show it and talk about our favorite moments of
I think it'd be good to have like a bookends, just like highlights, us kind of just retrospectively looking over all the discussions we had and the guests and all the shenanigans that ensue.
Definitely. That time we got canceled an episode. Fill in the blank here. Yeah, no. Dude, yeah, I'm honestly just, can I just say, like, it's just, this was the podcast had been in hiatus for a little while, and it was just one of those ideas I threw out there as, and anybody who, is a creative, you just kind of throw out ideas sometimes. And, it seemed to really grab, and the fact that we're sitting here and it's episode 0, like I'm stoked, man. I appreciate you, Devon, for going on this journey with me, and to all of our guests we're gonna have, and to all of you students out there listening along. Honestly, it's gonna be a great one. I can just feel it.
I appreciate you saying that, man. But it's been a long journey. It's been difficult to kind of keep a consistent schedule when we have other projects happening, but we're finally at a slowdown period, more or less, with the anthology. Well, we're in the post-production phase, so it's much less chaotic. And yeah, I think we all mutually had an appetite to start talking about films that we love again and really getting back to what it is that inspires us to create things. So yeah, and it's just nice to go back to basics and revisit some of these films that were so formative in our education. And just give you guys our take on these films. Hopefully that there's good amount of substance. You can save a bit of money by not going to college. Just hearing us talk about it. We went to school, so you didn't have to.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's all about like hitting on some trivia, hitting on some opinions, hitting on the wider thoughts of the film, and you can do that at a brisk pace. So I think it's gonna be fun to get everybody's individual take on things. With that said, that's essentially the end of this orientation episode, but I do want to throw it over to Devon to take over from here. So this is goodbye from me, folks. Thanks for coming out. But I'm going to give it to Devon because, as we said earlier, there was some events that I think affected all of us yesterday. So take it away, Devon.
Yeah, like I was saying before, we were all mourning the loss of David Lynch. So to end this introductory episode, we want to take a moment and acknowledge, his passing. I suppose it was like a long time coming with his health and everything, but I cannot understate how much of a influence he's had on me personally. But I think everyone in the collective in some way has been touched by David's just whole philosophy toward life and creating art. It really means a lot. He really means a lot to us. And so we want to just take a moment of silence to pay our respects and dedicate all of our creative efforts going forward to him and his life and his career. All right, see you in 2 weeks. Class dismissed.
Bring
Ding.
sad.